Have you ever wondered why we were all immunized when we were born of polio? Do you know why it was called an incommunicable disease? Welcome to the Rotary moment on this World Polio Day.
Mr. Byaruhanga Edward is among the millions of people who tested the toughness of polio disease. At the age of 3, he suffered from what seemed to be fever with a sore throat and headache.
Naye abasinga bafunanga obulema bwa polio abamu nga babakubya empiso nakwatibwa omusujja ne bamukuba empiso agenda okuvaayo ng'okugulu kusanyaladde oba oludda lwonna nga lusanyaladde. Kale abasinga bafuna bwe bati oluusi n'afuna accident nga oba yagwa naggaali nati agenda kuva mu buvuno obwo ng'avaayo nga mulwadde wa polio. So kirabika nti akawuka ako kabeeranga mu musaayi buli lwofuna infection yonna nga kafuna ekyaganya we kayitira nikakusanyalaza oba nikakugongobaza mu ngeri yonna kaba katandise.
Days later, the situation worsened with more back pain, vomiting, fatigue and joint body pain, which left him unconscious. The continuous spread of polio left many dead and many with defects. Miss Karunji Maureen, a student of Nachivubo Central Mint, then was also not spared by this dangerous disease.
When I was 3, I started schooling at Nachivubo Central Mint. Then I was going to school. When I reached school, I got some kind of malaria. They told my brother that I have malaria, they should take me home. It
forced her to leave school.
I got some rash on my body, and that rash became into a wound which lasted for almost 3 years on me, and at the end I had to lose my bone, my femur bone. The only alternative which was there is to operate me and they removed the bone.
The unexpected disaster, however, never stopped Karunji from pursuing her academics.
After some period of like 4 years, I had to go back to school. I pursued my studies until I finished my degree in agriculture. Yeah, I have a degree in agriculture. And after my degree, now I'm doing social work, by the way, because I saw there is a gap of people with disability in accessing different needs.
Okubeera ne polio oba tovudde mu bulamu bwansi. Okubeera ne polio tekikujjako okuba muntu mu bantu banno. Ate namwe abatalina polio oba batali balema tolaba ono nga mulema wa polio n'oseka busesi kubanga tomanyi musaayi gwo oba naawe olina kubanga essaawa yonna ofuna accident akawuka kuno kasitukirawo. So twetegeere nti ffenna tuli bamu, kiri kirwadde kijjabuzi ate kiwona bwonyi.
Like other dangerous diseases, a case in point HIV and COVID-19, polio also originated from countries outside the African continent.
$1.2 million Rotarians all over the world celebrate the World Polio Day. For 35 years, Rotary has been eradicating or working towards the eradication of polio. Our goal as Rotarians is to rid the entire world of polio. Today, we work at 99% eradication, and we have worked so hard to get here. The Rotarians who are wearing red aprons in the tent are trying to educate the community not only about polio, but also because of the COVID pandemic. This tent is here to ensure that people vaccinate for COVID. The gentlemen in aprons, as you can see, are showing people how to register. This is voluntary, like I've already said. Nobody has paid these Rotarians. They are here to serve this community in Bulindo and Kira.
First of all, Rotary, our organization, for the work they are doing in the community, especially today. It is when I've come to take my job for this COVID-19.
Many times Rotary does not work alone. We work with communities, and within that community we shall pick a medical center, we shall pick a hospital, we shall pick the different educational opportunities that there might be. This time they picked Chimwanyi Medical Health Center. A feasibility study was done here, and we realized that a lot of the people that are covered by the Rotary Club of Kira and Bulindo can actually come to this center to receive the medical care that we need. And for today, that is the World Polio Day, a lot of the children can come to this center for polio. The center we are at right now, this table, is covering children who are getting the booster vaccine for polio. And I want to ask these beautiful nurses who are working on so many children today, how many children they've worked on, and also to let us know if they've had cases before that have come to the center that are suffering from polio. Musao, how are you?
Madam.
Yeah. I want to find out, how many children have you immunized so far today?
Today we are reaching 200, the number of 200.
Wow, it is about 1 o'clock and they have immunized 200 children already within this community. Do you always get these numbers over the weekends or within the week?
Not at all.
So it is because Rotary has managed to call out
yes,
people.
please, and they have mobilized a lot.
That's very good. Do you ever get cases of people coming to the medical center saying they are sick of polio?
Not yet.
You're not getting any?
No.
So is this, is there, if anybody has not got the polio vaccine, are they able to get the first dose?
Yes,
because
they are
this is
getting.
also a booster dose.
Yes, they are getting the first dose.
They're getting the first dose, and as well as those who have been vaccinated against the booster
we are
dose.
giving the booster dose.
Tell me, have you seen, ever since while you were working here, have you seen children who are suffering from polio already?
Yes, we got a suspected case, and we referred it to Kasangat. So they sent the case to Entebbe to test and see whether the child was having polio.
How long ago was this?
Some years.
Good.
Yeah, like 3 years or 4 years.
The opportunity strikes, Rotary will ensure that all the issues that are in a community are covered. I've just shown you the COVID tent. Now we are working with young girls that start from 10 years old.
So far tuli mu baana nga 50.
50? That's very good. Lwaki muba immunizing?
Kakati kano ka tent tugemeramu abaana cervical cancer, abaana ab'obuwala cervical cancer, abaana okuva ku myaka 10 betutagetinga. Tubagema cervical cancer okulaba nti abaana ba Uganda abali mu myaka 10 mu bujja tebakwatibwa bulwadde bwa kansa w'omumwa gwa nnabaana. Gwe mugaso gw'okugema.
Waliyo be mugaana ne mugamba nti gwe tetujja ku immunizinga oba gwe tusobola oku immunizinga?
Kakati omwana omuwala bw'ajja ng'ali mu age eri sexually active, tetutera kubagema. Tusinga kwagala bano abaana abakyali abato abatannabeera active mu mbeera za kintu kikulu. Anti kati omuntu bw'abanga yakikolako, you never know, ayinza okuba already nga akawuka akakola ki akalina. So kati bano abato tuba tusuubira nti bo baba bakyali safe from that disease. Kati kwe kubagema tubatangire obutakola ki obutakafunira
kati mukola mutya mububuuza omwana omuto nga bwenda byoli gwe mugemye. She's about 12 years old, right?
kakati twogera nabo ne tubabuuza ebeerayo akajja ng'olabira ddala nti kaki kato kakati abeera ze ng'olaba nti asuumuseemu ofuna engeri gy'omubuuzaamu n'olaba oba alina ky'amanyi oba takola ki tamanyi.
It is important that everybody gets immunized. And today, as the Rotarians mark the World Polio Day, we still have a table for immunization or vaccination against COVID-19. Now I'm going to change to Luganda to make sure that everybody understands. COVID is called Lumima Maugwe. Msao, badde nsaba weeyanjule otubuulire mwaka vaccinating abantu bameka obulwadde buno lwa Lumima Maugwe.
Amanya gange nze Nukise Jeni ndi musawo nkolera Kira kati naze wala naye abantu bazze mbungi mbeza tuwezezza abantu nga 200.
Abantu 200 zizino ziri ssaawa 7 olowooza tunaaweza abantu 1,000 olunaku lw'olwaleero?
Tuyinza okuweza 1,500.
Wow, 1,500. So mwakoze mutya okumakinga sure nti abantu bano bajja? Vaccines zazze ne Rotary oba bwe babagamba nga mmwe muzireeta? Njagala kumanya Rotary abalala bonna ababalaba bafuna batya okukolagana nammwe okufuna vaccine za Lumima Maugwe?
In charge w'eddwaliro yayogedde ne Wakiso district nebeera ng'ereeta vaccines zize.
Rotary grooms leaders, and when you join a Rotary club, you're groomed from being a director to serving as a normal, like any other Rotarian, into leadership, and then finally you become the lead in that Rotary club, who then is called a president. Today I'm seated with the 2 leaders of the 2 wonderful clubs that have had this community come together. The Rotary Club of Bulindo and the Rotary Club of Kira. They've decided to come here and mobilize people to vaccinate against polio, vaccinate against COVID-19 and against cervical cancer. I will start with the lady.
Thank you so much, Carol. As you may be aware, Rotary has been in this fight for the last 35 years. And the fight against polio is not something that can be done by only World Health Organization or the government. It requires each one of us to bring our strength to the table. So that's why the Rotary Club of Bulindo and the Rotary Club of Kira have come together so that we reach out to the communities. And even as we try to fight against polio, as we try to work towards a world-free polio, we know that we are currently suffering with COVID. We know that we are having very many cervical cancer patients, and that's why we decided to say, okay, we are reaching out to the community. Let's bring all these services nearer to the community.
Wonderful. I need the viewers to know who you are.
Oh, Changemaker President Mary Mpiliro for the Rotary Club of Bulindo.
Thank you very much, Mary. Now, for me, I always ensure that the ladies come first. So please do not feel that you've been deprived of anything, but the ladies always come first. President, tell us about today, but first introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, Carol, and I want to thank you for this initiative of the Rotary Moments. My name is Changemaker President Medi Lutaya from the Rotary Club of Kira. Again, like my colleague has already ably given the genesis of the fight against polio, Rotary has 7 focus areas, and amongst them is disease prevention and treatment. And the diseases that Rotary has been at the forefront of fighting and for a possible elimination in the world is polio. And today marks the International World Polio Day. And as the clubs in Kira, we decided to mark this day with a health camp in our communities. And for the part of Rotary Club of Kira and Rotary Club of Bulindo, we decided to work with the community of Chimwanyi and the surrounding areas at the health center too, where we are now. and we have a lot of activities going on. We have vaccinations for polio, we have vaccination for COVID, we have vaccination for HPV, that's the human papillomavirus that causes the cervical cancer. We have vitamins, we have tetanus, we have diphtheria. A couple of vaccinations and doses are going on now, and the community has responded massively, which is a very good positive, and we want to thank the mobilization that has been done by the community, the village health teams, and of course the two clubs that have put this to.
You know, it's amazing when I get to host different Rotary clubs, and I always end by saying we go to communities that are deprived. We don't know the people, nobody knows us, but we go to serve. But one thing I don't normally talk about is the money. I want the viewers out there, without me talking about it now, because I always talk about it. Where do we get this money? You know, I see tents. I see the nurses that we interviewed earlier saying you gave them transport. I see the cooling facility. I see chairs. And there must be fuel that brought the several cars I'm seeing here. Where does that money come from? I'll start with you, President Medi.
Rotary, first of all, stands for service above self. So you look into yourself and see what you can do to help someone who is marginalized, someone who is vulnerable. And in the change-making year, we are promoting a service that changes lives. This is the work of the selfless men and women from the Rotary clubs of Bulindo and Kira, who have gone deep down in their pockets to create a small fund that will support giving back to the community. So this is all voluntary contributions from the members of the Rotary clubs of Kira and Bulindo.
Isn't that beautiful?
In Rotary, we are people of different professions, people of different talent, and we bring all those together to see this happening. You will find in Rotary there is a decorator, and the decorator will tell you, okay, I will offer this. And then these cars that you're seeing, Rotarians, they're saying, okay, I will go and pick the health workers. So it's that actually makes us Rotarians. What change are we bringing in the communities where we live to bring that impact, to bring that change that we desire to see in the communities? So it's about being selfless, sharing the little that you have with the disadvantaged out there, sharing the little that you have with those in need. Thank you.
Do you see the passion they're using? Sometimes I feel that I'm the only one excited about Rotary, especially when I speak about the service. That euphoria that you feel when you're giving, that euphoria you feel when you've given and your heart is warm. And I want to thank both of you for having, because without the top leadership and doing this, I don't think we would have managed to do this. I want to ask you a final question, and this is about our Rotary International President, who's advocating for grow more, do more. Now, we've done a lot here. Have you taken the initiative to look around for the young people in this community? I see a lot of young people between 10 to 15 and a lot of 15, 16, young people that could make a Rotaract club, young people that could make an Interact club. Do you have any initiative that you could stand around that? I'll start with you.
Thank you so much, Carol. Did like you've said, there is great potential here. And that's one of the reasons as to why we have these outreaches. Because if we don't have these outreaches, it becomes very hard for us to identify this kind of potential. So when we come out like this, people get to understand Rotary. What is Rotary all about? So it even makes it easy for us who are already in Rotary to recruit in new members. So that's why it's going to be much easier for us. If you notice, we've been engaging with most of them. We've given them our contacts, and it's going to be easy for us to start an Interact club here, Rotaract club, and we've also started. We are also working on a new Rotary club of Chitukutwe. It's information, but it's through these activities that we get the mileage.
Again, I want to say that my sister Mary has put the icing on the cake. We have a lot that is in store for the communities around us. And I also want to thank God that it's coming at a time where we have thought that the best way we're going to work in our communities is to partner. We have a lot of partnership arrangements with the Rotary Club of Bulindo. Even this alone is a manifestation of the goodwill to work together. Like she said, we've started with the Rotary Club of Chitukutwe in formation, and still the only thing that has held us back is the fact that schools have been closed. But we also had ambitions of starting the Interact Club, and the moment the schools open, we'll have Interact Clubs that are based within our communities, and it will be the stepping stone for a vibrant Rotaract Club of the geographical Kira.
Having been a Rotaractor and an Interactor, I'm literally a Rotary baby. There's nothing that helps a community like having young people sit together and are mentored and are groomed to do good to the community. And I will applaud you both for having done this. And then the other thing maybe that I could communicate to the viewers is that there's no competition. She's a president, he's a president. We are not competing. We are here to serve. And the most important thing that I've liked that both of you have communicated is that you can actually partner to create a new club.
Yeah, sure.
You can partner, and the more resources there are, the better for you. And I'm very, very proud of you. I don't know if that means anything, but I'm very proud to see that two presidents are sitting together to actually come and set up community projects, and because it has more impact also, and set up Interact Rotary clubs and a Rotary club. Thank you very much. I'm going to ask both of you to give me parting shots. What you communicate to your community that you've just worked with, your fellow Rotarians, and what else you want to tell everybody? What are those things? I remember when I interviewed you, President Medi, you told me of a grant that you had received that you had contributed to $5,000 US. When are we coming to see the implementation of that project? And I know I'm going to ask Mary about the same project because I know it is part of that project that you had contributed to. I want to hear something about that as we close this.
Again, Carol, like I earlier mentioned, is that we have harnessed the power of synergy. The grant that you're talking about is the brainchild of the Rotary Club of Bulindo, and we were brought on board as partners at Rotary Club of Kira, which grant has been approved by Rotary International, and we've finished the fundraising phase. We're only waiting for the release of funds to support the implementation of a WASH project, just a stone's throw from here in Nambogo Memorial Primary School. But also over and above that, as the Rotary Clubs of Kira, 8 Rotary Clubs of Kira, we are putting together a big global grant in the area of maternal and child health. And the very exciting thing about this is that we have tried to do a mapping of the health centers in our area. And again, the Rotary Club of Bulindo and Kira have been mapped onto Chimwanya Health Center too. We have done a pre-needs assessment. We have started on a big needs assessment, and we're going to support mother and child. We're going to support maternal and child health. So the mothers that you see here, the lactating mothers, the young children here that have gotten a lot of issues in their growing and giving birth, it is something that we want to add our humble contribution to see to it that we end infant mortality and fatalities that are caused as a result of women giving birth in places that are not gazetted, places that are devoid of sufficient health care. Again, this is what we are doing as Rotary Clubs of Kira. Yeah.
Wonderful. That's very beautiful. Thank you very much, President Medi. Madam.
Thank you so much, Carol. Like my colleague, my partner, Medi, we partner a lot in this work of Rotary. He has said there is so much that we have in store for the communities, because we desire to see changed communities. We desire to bring services closer to the people. Today we had thought of just 500 vaccines, but within no minute the 500 vaccines for COVID were done, and we had to get more vaccines. What does this tell you? That yes, these services are there, but maybe they are not brought closer to people. And that's our sole aim. Changing the community. So one word for the listeners is to encourage them to come and join us, because Rotary is about different skills. There's something, Carol, that you bring on board that I cannot bring. There's something that I'll bring on board. There's something that Medi will bring on board. So come, let's change the communities. Let's make these communities what we desire to. Well, let's make them what we want to see happening in these communities, because I can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. That's why you see we are partnering. We need to put our hands together so that we see very beautiful communities.
That's wonderful, very wonderful message, and I'm sure if Shaka Meta was to hear that, he would applaud you. And you did not mention the 90,000 grant that you received. I would really want to hear the implementation strategy for that one, because I'm very interested in coming and covering it so that the viewers can see what we do beautifully as Rotarians.
Thank you so much, Carol. Like Medi had sort of talked about it. We are at the tail end. We've already remitted the funds, and we are waiting for the funds to come through. We shall be bringing water closer to the communities, because that has been one of the major problems of these areas. So we want to bring water to the community, water to the school, because we know that water is life. We need water. And like he has also said, there's something we are working on maternal and child health. We know that it's such an important issue in the community. We need to manage, we need to ensure that our mothers deliver safely. Even after they have delivered, the kids get good health, they are in a better situation. We don't want to lose children after birth. So we are working on all those. And at the end of it all, I'm saying, come, let's work together. We need each one of you on board for us to be able to deliver that.
A call for you to join Rotary. I cannot say anymore. I think they've said everything. Thank you very much, the Rotary Club of Kira and the Rotary Club of Bulindo. I believe the 1.2 million Rotarians across the world celebrating the World Polio Day today are doing similar work, and I cannot thank them enough, because they're serving as many communities in the world that they can touch. And it is just a warming thought to believe that there is a Rotarian out there that is helping the next community. Thank you very much, President, and thank you for always allowing the Rotary Moment to come and cover you. So many times we ask ourselves, when we see the congregations of people that Rotary is serving, and you ask, who has financed that? How did they get the money? Because while we are serving and making sure that everybody gets a vaccine, everybody has a bottle of water, they are under a tent, there must be some money spent somewhere. I have a beautiful lady here who knows how to handle finances. I'll ask her to introduce herself and tell us briefly, how do you get the money that serves all these many people? Because I've been told we are getting almost 1,500 people here.
Thank you, Rotarian Caro. I'm called Rotarian Juliet Muvawala Namara. How do we get the money? We look for these funds within us, within the Rotary Club. But also, it's the way you handle the Rotarians, the way you entice them, the way you place your words. Because if you don't place the words in the right way, they will not know what exactly you want the money for. So you have to tell them, what am I going to use this money for? Please, members, be there. Come one, come all. It's going to be massive. It's a very big event. We need to be there. And that's why we are here. We have to serve. And most of the Rotarians, because of what they come to do in the club, so they give you the money willingly. But it's about the person.
So personality matters a lot when you're collecting money from Rotarians, because like any other person, we are human. Yes. Despite the fact that we've said we are Rotarians, we are also human. Yes. So collecting money can be difficult. Yes. I want to understand, do we have the normal institutional accountability? Do we look at how the money has been spent? I want to understand the the legalities around accountability, because when somebody gives you their money, they want to know how it has been spent, what is the balance, how it was utilized. Can you just give us a sneak peek of that?
Thank you, Carol. Yeah, like any other institution and organization, we have to account for the money. You have to take all responsibilities. You have to keep account how much you've bought the water, the refreshments, how much you've used on deco, how much you've brought the tents for. You need to account for everything, and you have to keep record and receipt. So you need to confirm with receipts.
Thank you very much. You have just brought a very interesting concept for us. While we've been talking about Rotary a lot, we have never mentioned the part where the money is used. We always talk about Rotarians giving, but we never talk about the accountability. So like you've just had, she's head of finance, but you must account for the money you've been given. You just don't use that money and, not get receipts. You must ensure their receipts and the accountability is thorough. It's always beautiful to see synergies and different people partnering and working together. I'm very, very excited to see that two clubs that work in a community have come together and done something like this. And like you've heard the president say, there are a lot more projects that are going to be implemented. I have the opportunity to interview 3 people that have mobilized this huge community. And I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves.
I'm George Msisi, the Projects Director in Rotary Club of Bulindo.
Thank you for coming to the Rotary Moment, James.
I'm Rotarian Isaac Okelo, RC Kira, Youth Service Director.
Great. I saw so many young people here today.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm going to have to bend over because of, but you can pass it on.
Thank you. My name is Lieutenant Robert Kayongo from Rotary Club of Bulindo.
It's always very hard to implement without the endorsement of the leaders. And like you've had the presidents, they've endorsed and said this should happen. Now, we also heard from finance that finances are collected and we're able to do this. But then there's the big animal in the room where you cannot get the people to come to where you want them to come to implement. Not so. I'm going to ask you, James, to tell us how you have managed, first of all, to get together as the two clubs and bring so many people together for this activity.
Largely it was the implementation came from a pre-existing relationship between the two clubs. And it's been a success because of that synergy of working together without any biases between the clubs. Regarding the finer details, there's been a lot of last-minute decisions to make, but they have always been ironed out very quickly because at the topmost level, the leadership of the clubs have been working together very well, and it's been easy to come together and do something in the community, and of course with the local leadership, which we think that it's a win that two community-based clubs are giving something to the community within which they are located. Yes.
Great. Thank you very much, James. Isaac, how have you accomplished this?
This, I should say, it is actually a successful event that was organized by two Rotary clubs, that is Rotary Club of Bulindo and Rotary Club of Kira. And this understanding that these two clubs have a common goal in the same community, we had to leverage the structure that are already in existence, that is VHTs in the communities, the local leaders, to mobilize and get this kind of numbers. Yes.
Thank you very much, Isaac. Now, Rotarian Robert, how have you managed to get all these people together?
What has happened today for this particular event is something that was started way back. Last year we had a blood donation that involves all the clubs within Kira municipality, about 8 clubs. But this time, before this, there's a program in which the clubs are trying to undertake a maternal child health project. Now, each club, 2 clubs were attached on a health center that's near to them. So the Rotary Club of Bulindo and the Rotary Club of Kira were attached to Chimwanya Health Center too. That's how we came to be here. Now, once we agreed that the World Polio Day has come, we had to come and do something here. One, to mobilize the local community, and we have done that, like Rotarian George has said, through the local leadership. I had to deal with the LC3, who is a Rotarian from Bulindo, Rotarian Gerard Chizito, is mayor for Kira Division. This is Kira Division of Kira Municipality. We have used him a lot, and he has helped us to leverage the structures, the local leadership, LCs. Then we had to use the structures of the health center. Attached on this health center are VHTs. There are 32 VHTs, village health teams, and we tapped into that. There are 8 villages within this that are attached to the health center here. So we use the VHT teams to go down in the communities and mobilize the people to come over. We have also used drive-through mobile vans for 3 days from, I think, Thursday. But we have also used the office of the town clerk of Kira Municipality to help us mobilize the vaccines. Now, when we went to him, he requested that they are having a hard time for the communities to access COVID-19 vaccines. Going to the health center in Kira is quite a challenge, but also it seems there are some issues, and then the vaccines are not being used. So he requested that he will facilitate us with the vaccines and the medical team to utilize this day and this facility to vaccinate against COVID. That's why we have these numbers. And we have so far finished 1,000 people. We had to go and pick more vaccines. We think we could vaccinate another 1,000 people today. So that's how we have been able to mobilize the numbers here. But also because we have a long-standing partnerships as Rotary clubs from within Kira Division, within Kira Municipality. There's Weyogere Nambole, Weyogere Central, Namugongo, Najera, Nalia, Rotary Club of Kira, Rotary Club of Bulindo, and also mothering another baby, Rotary Club of Chitukutwe Information, which is not very far from here. So it's that partnership that has enabled us to mobilize the numbers here.
Now, my last question to the two gentlemen here. I want to ask you, I've heard about your relationship with this particular medical center, and it looks like each one of you has been allocated a medical center. Now, it looks like you have started grooming that medical center. I want to ask, what else are you doing for this medical center?
Thank you so much, Rotarian Caro. What I know very well and conversant with is that globally, it is a World Polio Day, and every Rotarian, wherever they are in their respective clubs, they are celebrating this in a unique way in a different health center, just like we've done in health center, Chimwanyi Health Center. They are also having the same kind of activity, polio vaccination of COVID. There is a dispensation of vitamins to the children, vitamin A. There is a vaccine for HPV, which is being given all over across the country.
Great. And
the different clubs in the municipality, like Robert said, were all allocated different health centers. So some of our sister clubs have worked on different health centers within the municipality.
we have had the opportunity of seeing everybody in the tent, but I'm privileged to interview one of the people who have received the vaccine. Hi, how are you, my dear?
I'm okay.
How are you feeling?
Very good.
What's your name?
My name is Sheila Tivik Samara.
How did you hear about this community outreach?
While I was at home on Friday, a village health councillor passed through saying Rotary had organized something like this to vaccinate COVID and polio, and they said it was done by Rotary. I've been a Rotaractor before, and I really believe in the work of Rotary.
Why haven't you vaccinated all along? What happened?
Busy work schedule. Honestly, I was afraid. I had a lot of things concerning the vaccination and everything. So I was like, let me first watch and see what happens before I actually go for the shot. Yeah.
What are those things that you want to tell people that have allowed you, have convinced you to come and immunize?
I'd like to tell the viewers out there that taking the COVID vaccination is almost like taking the vaccinations we took when we were younger, about the 6 killer diseases and everything. We've never had any side effects from those. So this is only just preventative, and I urge everybody out there, come get this shot. Go get it wherever you can. It's good for you.
My fellow person with albinism, I want to encourage you that you always come for vaccination, because it doesn't have side effects are there, but it doesn't affect us so much because our bodies are the same. Just because we are lacking what we call melanin, melanin determines the skin color. So we are not much different from other people. So we should also come for vaccination because it concerns our lives.
I'm very happy that I've taken my jab. So I think I'm now free to go wherever I've been stopped from going, because they've been asking for this card, but I'm happy that I've now got it. It's with me. I thank you very much.
Parting shots for your fellow Rotarians that are doing this across the world.
One is we don't have to focus so much on the big projects. Big projects are welcome, and if they are focused on, it's good because they have a bigger impact. But we can also look at the low-hanging fruits. What small projects can we do, but with a very high impact? If you can do something, especially in our communities, because that's where people should feel Rotary as well. That I know that the Rotary Club of Kira, the Rotary Club of Bulindo, which we are here, at least people can directly relate Rotary to the health service they have got today.
For me, what this shows is probably you can sum it with the vision, the current vision of Rotary, that we see a world where people come together, unite, take action, and create impact in our communities, across the globe, and among ourselves. What has happened here, I think, creates an impact, but at the same time, it keeps Rotary visible, because out there not so many people understand Rotary, even up to now. Just moments ago, somebody was asking us, what exactly do you Rotarians do? Who are you? Are you snobbish people and what? So this kind of programs, I call it an outreach program, helps the community to understand what Rotary is all about. It keeps the visibility of Rotary. It means that Rotarians are passionate about serving and about creating an impact in the communities. Because look at these numbers here, and they are going to be served, all of them. It will stick here forever. It will not get out of this community. And what is even interesting, not very far from here, the Rotary Club of Bulindo has just got a global grant of $89,000, just Nambogo. It's less than a kilometer from here. So it's these kind of things, these kind of projects, these kind of outreaches that will keep Rotary visible, but also create impact in the communities and makes Rotary meaningful in the communities.
Thank you, Rotarian Robert. It's always amazing to see human beings give for the good of how they're going to feel later. The euphoria, the feeling that you get when you've given cannot measure. Nobody can ever measure it. I assure you the Rotarians here today are going to go home smiling, and they are going to go home sleep soundly because they served today. We applaud the Rotary Club of Kira and the Rotary Club of Bulindo for coming out and serving over 1,500 people in this community, and yet they are going to give them a lot more and come back and serve. Wouldn't you want to join Rotary? I believe it's a very beautiful place to come and serve. Come and get that euphoria that we all experience when we serve. Join us again on the Rotary Moment next week. I've been Caro Chazeka Koza, your host. You can watch us on the YouTube channel at The Rotary Moment Show and on Facebook, The Rotary Moment Show.